Thank you, friends, for stopping by. I am Tutor Cletus Okoli. Today, we shall be talking about percentages. Lesson 2, under percentages. How we can simply apply percentages in our daily lives. If we look at the board, I want to show us simple tricks that we can use to find the percentages of different numbers. Starting from the values I have on the board, I want to find 60% of 90. We don't need calculator here. We assume to work with our mental power. I want to find 80% of 300, 20% of 150, 30% of 110, 40% of 130. The simple trick: to find 60% of 90, just cancel the zeros, multiply 6 by 9, and that will give me 54. Okay? Once you are finding percentage that involves zeros with numbers that also involve zeros, cancel out the zeros and multiply the values. 80% of 300, just cancel out the two zeros, 1 0 from 80, 1 0 from 300. Then multiply 8 by 30, and that is going to give us 240. What is 20% of 150? I cancel out 0 here and cancel out 0 here. That is 2 times 15, which is equal to 30. Simple tricks. You don't need to start looking for your phone calculator. You don't need to start looking for your children that are in school to work for you the mathematics. You yourself can do it. It is everybody's mathematics, and all of us meet percentages in our daily lives. What is 30% of 110? It is simply 3 times 11, and that is 33. What is 40% of 130? It can be 130 million. It can be 130 pounds. It can be 130 euro. It can be 130 naira. It can be 130 centimeters. It can be 130 meters. It can be any unit, but the percentage application is still the same. So 4 times 13 will give me 52. Simple. There is no calculator. There is no paper and pen. You just work it in your mind. Remember, in my first video, I said that if we want to find 100% of, let's say, 450, I told us in that video that 100% of any number is that number. So 100% of 450 is still 450. If I want to find 50% of any number, 50% of 450 is simply half of the number. Divide that number by 2, which is now going to give me 225. Okay? Now, if we want to find 10% of 450, in my first video I said 10% of any number is simply divide that number by 10. So 10% of 450 is 45. I'm trying to give us a reminder so that we can use it to solve this daily life problem. Then 5% of 450, in the previous video I said 5% of any number, divide that number by 10 and divide it by 2. So if I divide 450 by 10, I get 45. And when I divide 45 by 2, I am going to get 22.5. That is 22.5. Beautiful. Lastly, 1% of 450 is going to give us 4.5. 4.5. That is 1% of any number is divide that number by 100. Now, let us come into discount. We want to discuss about discount. Markup, decrease, increase, markup. So we look at this. I have an item that costs $120 and there is a 20% off from the price. Do I need to look for calculator to know the price or wait to get to payment point before I should know what will be the actual value of that item? Or should I work it out on my own? The right and the more excellent thing to do is for you to know the actual price of the item you want to pick. So the price on it is $120, but there is a 20% off. What do you need to do? To find 20% of 120 and subtract it from $120 to know the actual value of that item. But we say that 10% of any number is divide that number by 10. So that means that 20% is the same thing as 10% multiplied by 2. So $120, if I divide it by 10, I will get 12. And 12 times 2 is going to give me 24. That means my discount here is $24. Okay? My gain here, what I'll be putting into my pocket in this item is $24. $24. You can now discount $24 to know the actual price of that item. And what does it mean? That the new price will now be 120 minus 24, which is going to give us $96. You can now take decision whether to put it into your shopping cart or not, because you have known the actual price. Let's come to question number 2. An item that costs $80 but has a 30% discount. You need to know the actual price for you to take your final decision. What do you need to do? To find 30% of 80 and subtract it from 80. But how do you do that? Using the mental power, okay? Using the simple tricks, percentage tricks. What you need to do, 30% of this is the same thing as 10% multiplied by 3. And 10% of 80 is 80 divided by 10, which will give me 8. And 8 times 3 will give me 24. So my gain, which is the discount, is simply $24. That is what you get from the marked price. Therefore, you now reduce $80 by $24. And that is going to give us the actual price, the new price of that item. New price of the item is going to be 80 minus 24, which is going to be $56. That is the new price. With this amount, you knowing it, you can decide whether to buy or not to buy. Not because you have seen 30% and after you have paid, you begin to feel if I had known the actual price, I may not have picked this item. Let's come to this dress, question number 3. A dress has a price tag of £450, but there is a markup price of 15%. That means there is a discount of 15%. So how do you know what will be the actual price of this dress? What you need to do is to find 15%. But God, to this our simple trick, 15% is the same thing as, I can put it as 10% plus 5%. Okay? Which means I will come and find 10% of 450 divided by 10. That is going to give me £45. Then, while 5% is divided by 10, divide by 2, which is half of 10%, and that is going to give me 22.5. You can see it there. Look at it, 45 divided by 2, that is 5% of 450, very beautiful, is equal to 22.5. Now, when I add the 2, I am going to get 67.5. So, my gain here from the markup percentage is £67.5. That is my gain. Okay? That is what you have as your balance. Therefore, you can take decision. So what will now be the new price of this dress? The new price is going to be $450 minus 67.5. And that is going to give us 382.50 pounds. Beautiful. So you might be scared of the price if you don't know the actual value after 15% reduction. Or maybe you don't have your calculator and you are seeing 450. But you can just work the 15% and then probably be motivated to pick the item, the dress. Let's come to number 4. I have an item 250 naira, but there is 20% decrease, reduction in price. So I am not going to be moved by 250. Maybe the store before this particular store has the price as 220 naira and there is no discount, there is no decrease. But this store has their own that it is originally 250 naira, but they have now attached 20% decrease to the item. You work it out. Simply look for 20% of 250 so that you know the actual price. So that way, you can compare it with what you saw in the previous store. Good. What is 20% of 250? We do the same thing. That is finding 10% and then multiplying it by 2 because it's a mental calculation. And 10% of 250 is divide 250 by 2. And that is going to give us 25. When we get 25, we multiply it by 2. That is simply going to give us 15 naira. So our change here is 15 naira. You deduct 15 naira from the 250. That means that the new price of this item is simply 200 naira. New price. Beautiful. The power of percentages. Everybody's mathematics. It is not for students. It is for everybody. You can buy and sell. You can enter into deals, do businesses, negotiate businesses and contracts. Percentage is very important. You don't need to go home to look for calculators. Everybody can do it. Simple tricks can help you to do that. Very beautiful. Let's come to question number 5. I have a cost price of an item, 150 euro, but there is a markup of 30%. If you pick this item with this 150 euro, you might be embarrassed because you are supposed to calculate 30% and they add to 150. This is the cost price. So the markup will cover the overhead cost and the profit. Therefore, you have to find 30% of 150 euro and add it up to know what is the exact selling price of this item. So this is just the cost price. Therefore, 30% of 150 euro, which means 10% multiplied by 3. The easy way to do it. I find 10% here, I divide 150 by 10. That gives me 15 times 3, and that is equal to 45 euro. What does it mean? That's 30%. Remember, I divided 150 by 10 because I'm looking for 10%, and it gave me 15. I multiplied the 15 by 3 to get 45. That 45 is my 30%. Multiplying by 3 is because I am given a markup percentage of 30. So therefore, I am going to add markup. This is not a markup. Alright? So I am going to add 45 euro to 150 euro. And that is going to give us the actual selling price of the item to be 45 plus this 195 euro. The last but not the least. Number 6. An item that is displayed as 800 naira, but there is 40% increase in price. This is the old price, So due to inflation, the company has decided to come and they attach a 40% increase to that item. If you pick this item with the hope to pay 800 naira, that may bring you embarrassment. What you need to do is to calculate 40% and then add it up, because due to inflation, the price has changed. Therefore, 40% of 800, you can see what we calculated here. If you don't want to go by 10% multiplied by 4, you can simply cancel 0 and cancel 0, then multiply 8 by 4. Okay, like I did here. So, going by 10% multiplied by 4, 10% of 800 is 8. That simply means divide 800 by 10. And that is going to give me 8. Then I multiply by 4 to get my 40%. So 4 times 8 is going to give me 320. Meaning, what should be added to this old price is 320 naira. And when I add 320 naira to this, that will now give me the new price of that item. The new price of the item. So 800 plus 320 is going to give me 1,120 naira. This should be the selling price, the new selling price of the item. What have we discussed? We have talked about how we can apply simple tricks in percentages to get the actual values when percentages counts. How we can do discount, how we can do markup and markup. Thank you for listening. Please share the videos and subscribe. God bless you. I remain Tutor Cletus Okoli. Bye.